What's good, everybody? Have you ever heard of Solasta Crown of the Magister? Solasta is a turn-based tactical RPG based on the Dungeons & Dragons tabletop game. Is it worth your time? I put together this video to explain why I think you should give Solasta a try heading into 2023. For starters, this entire game is playable in single player or completely co-op with up to 4 players where they control their own custom-built character. I just want to start off with a little bit of background. September 2019, Solasta entered into a Kickstarter. During this Kickstarter campaign, it brought together over 6,000 fans, raising a total of $270,000. After being a Kickstarter for almost 2 years, it finally got its release on Steam on May 27th, 2021. Even though the game has been reviewed and very positive on Steam, I wanted to make this video and open up to people that probably don't even know about it. The only reason why I found Solasta is because I was looking for a game that had similar mechanics to Divinity Original Sins. Jumping right in, before you can start your adventure, you got to make 4 characters to form your party. The game lets you build each of these characters out, choosing between 9 different races, all with their own unique attribute boost and ability scores. Then after that, you choose between 9 different classes, which all have 4 subclasses, except for the cleric, which has a whopping 10 subclasses. These subclasses allow you to build your character much further in depth to tailor to your playstyle. Each class unlocks these at different levels and changes the class in a big way. Adding all these subclasses gives your players a reason to replay the game and test each class out multiple times to see which is right for them. When creating your background for your character, choose wisely. Not only will this determine how the character will respond in voice acted scenes, it'll give you certain items, give you a boost on your adventure ahead. It could also lead to different missions you cannot get unless a character with a specific background is in your group. When setting up your attribute pool, it allows you to roll 6 dice to set your attributes just how you see fit. You can keep rolling these as much as you like to get the numbers that you want. Or if you want to get an advantage on the competition because this game can be rough on the harder difficulties, you can choose to free roll, set these starting attributes exactly where you want instead of the RNG of rolling. Character customization is basic, but good enough. Make sure you get it how you want, because you'll consistently be staring at your characters during these cutscenes. Similar to how the world is set up in Final Fantasy Tactics, the world of Solasta is broken down between towns and dungeons depicted on a map that grows as you gain missions or talk to NPCs to gain information about treasures or monsters to slay. Once you have discovered these locations, you can choose to move at a slow, normal, or a fast pace to travel to your desired location. As you travel on the map, you come across random encounters, and the pace you choose allows you to pick how you want to approach these random enemies. Moving slow will make it so your characters are more aware of their surroundings, allowing you to surprise your enemies as they approach, and obviously will take you a little bit longer to reach your end goal. Being caught by surprise or surprising your enemy make it so one is caught off guard and cannot move for a full turn. Choosing to move at a normal pace will keep you at a balanced pace as well as good alertness so your characters can notice the enemies so they're not caught off guard as often. Choosing a fast pace and saying fuck it stealth will put you on the fastest route possible, leaving you vulnerable to being caught off guard more easily. It's a cool little mechanic added to these so-called random encounters. While traveling across the map and get caught in a random encounter, searching a dungeon, or in a city trying to complete a mission, you come face to face with a monster to slay, you will enter combat where each character, to include the enemy, will do an initiative roll to determine the turn order for that combat sequence. Like in XCOM, the combat arenas are broken down into grid squares, where each square represents 1 movement point. You have 5 to 7 movement points depending on the race of the character you picked, and you go up as you gain gear that favors movement later on in the game. Now that you are in range and you have the skill chosen that you want to use to attack, your character will now roll a dice to see if he makes contact. In order to make contact, the roll will have to be higher than the enemy's armor class that you are aiming at. If the attack hits, he will conduct another roll to see how much damage he will land, depending on the current damage output. Now, unless your character is a dual wielder or your caster with a basic heal, each character will only have 1 attack per turn when you first start off the game. As you progress through the game, depending on your class, your character will gain access to a 2nd attack per turn, not including your bonus action for your offhand weapon. Also, you'll be able to obtain gear or select traits as you level to give your attack rolls a bonus, giving you a higher chance of making contact when attacking, or making cantrips hit for half damage even if they miss. A cantrip is a skill that casters receive that has unlimited uses. So just real quick, wanted to touch on the story. Not going to talk much about it because it's not the brightest point of this game. It was poorly voice acted, but with all the bad writing, made for some of the funniest moments I've ever had while playing video games. Even with all the bad acting and writing, I would sit through the entire story again. It honestly is funny, and the humor made it seem like it wasn't as bad. This may draw a lot of people away, so I just wanted to put that out there, but for me it was a plus. But where they lacked in all this storytelling, they made up for it in their combat. But if the Solasta story doesn't catch your fancy, but you are good at creating, you are free to make your own story through the Dungeon Creator, or just download one from another creator through the Steam's workshop. My attention span is that of a flea, so this goes way above my head. But hey, some people shine when it comes to stuff like this. The game is always being updated, and it currently has new DLC coming on November 14th. The Inner Strength DLC will come with 3 new classes: the Monk, the Bard, the Warlock, all with their own 4 subclasses. The game was only originally released with 4 classes. This DLC will be up to 12. Now, with all that out of the way, the game is very enjoyable, and I constantly return to enjoy the combat and test out new builds. If you enjoy games like Divinity and are waiting for the full release of Baldur's Gate 3, this will be a good game to add to your library. That was a look at Solasta Crown of the Magister. I appreciate everyone for stopping by, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.